I'd like to call this meeting to order. Would you please stand with me and recite the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. The first item on our business is our weekly commission reports, and so I will ask Commissioner Moore what she is planning to do this week.
Okay. Actually, this morning I had my first scheduled meeting. I attended the League of Women Voters meeting this morning, and the program was actually Jason Does was one of the speakers who did a presentation on Shelton recycling, and so that was kind of fun. He did a great job. I appreciated that. On Thursday, I have a Mason Matters meeting from 9 o'clock in the morning, and then on Wednesday, I'm going backwards here, I have a regular briefing. I'd like to remind everyone that the Shelton Metropolitan Park Board meeting will be January 26th at 1:30 p.m. And that's it. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Olson.
Excuse me, the only meeting I had, I just finished, was a 2-hour MTA meeting where we talked about the city's Parks and Rec program and moving into the almost newly finished Mason Community Center, Transit Community Center. That's moving along real well. And then the only other comment I wanted to make was a week or so ago here, I had a meeting, Commissioner Moore was also at it, with the Mason General Hospital Foundation and the staff that runs Treasures and some of the Human Services Committee members, and we had kind of a meeting of the minds there to jump on the subject of dumpster diving and how Treasures was conducting business. And I'm happy to report that they've really changed things down there drastically. And the alley is cleaner than I've seen it in 10 years down there. They've really taken it to heart to be a good community member, and they're doing a great job. So if you get a chance, stop down there and give them an attaboy or an attagirl, because it really is impressive what they've done in just a short period of time. So that's all I have.
All right. And this week, tomorrow morning, I will be attending a Mason County Criminal Justice Board meeting, and that's what I'm doing this week. But last week, I attended a mayor's exchange over in Olympia, and one of the items that came forward was that this month is, our governor has proclaimed, and this may have been in the past, but he has proclaimed this to be the month for mentoring, and it's annual January, the month for mentoring, and I am a mentor, and many people are mentors in life, and I just think that I would like to join the governor in acknowledging and joining with him, as other cities are in the process of doing this, to recognize how important mentoring is, especially in young people's lives. And so we have a proclamation here that came from the governor's desk, and so I'd like to read that into the record and acknowledge that mentoring is a good thing, and that we want to acknowledge that this is, how do they say it, the proclamation, this is Mentoring Month. So, Vicki, could we read that into the record?
I'll do it. I'll do my best. This is the first I've seen of it, so.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a proclamation, the state of Washington. Whereas the future success of our state depends upon supporting every child to reach their full potential, and whereas we recognize that young people need a solid foundation to nurture them as they learn and grow to become productive and caring Washingtonians, and whereas research shows that mentoring provides long-term benefits for young people by increasing their chances of high school and college success, and whereas positive relationships with adults decrease the likelihood of disengagement from school and risky behaviors like substance abuse, and whereas thousands of students across Washington are in need of a caring adult in their lives, and meeting this need will require investment, partnerships, and volunteers ready to make a difference in the student's life, and whereas quality organizations in our state, such as Communities and Schools of Washington's, Jobs for Washington Graduates, Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington, and Mentoring Works Washington, stand ready to help volunteers get connected with students to mentor them around, over, and through the barriers which may keep them from a successful pathway in their lives. And whereas National Mentoring Month is an opportunity to unite the residents of Washington, to empower our students, raise public awareness of the importance of mentoring, recognize those who have impacted youth across the state, and build a brighter future for Washington's children through mentoring. Now therefore, the Shelton City Commission of the State of Washington do hereby proclaim, along with the State of Washington, January 2015 as National Mentoring Month in Washington, and call upon all people in our state to recognize the importance of strengthening their communities through mentoring, and to observe this month with gratitude for active mentors and opportunities to add new mentors.
Thank you very much. So that is our proclamation, and we want to agree with the governor and the state of Washington that mentoring is important. So that completes our commission reports. The next item is a general comment period. We have 2 of them in the meeting, but if anybody has come here from the public and would like to speak to us about anything, if we have 3-minute time limit, we welcome you to come and sign. We have a sheet that we need to sign in, and then we'd love to hear what the community is concerned about. And so, yep, I talked to you the other day, and so we have a sign-up sheet, and we would welcome you to come and speak.
I also can't hear anybody except the mayor.
Just me?
I'm trying to. Thank you.
It's kind of quiet in here tonight. I don't know if they turned off the elevator music, or maybe Mark just being a good boy tonight, not making a lot of noise.
Gordon didn't say what his prediction for the game is. What's your prediction?
Are we going to win? Oh, yeah, yeah.
What's your score?
I'm going to say 20-6.
Ooh, okay.
Wow. All right, it's Olive. Is your name Olive?
Yes.
Yes, come up to the podium there. There's a microphone, and we would love to hear what you have on your mind there. Okay, yeah, it's, I speak louder sometimes, so, which may be good, may be bad.
Okay, is this okay?
This is good.
Okay. It probably isn't going to do me any good, but I'm going to voice my opinion
Okay.
on this increase in our water and sewer. Now, maybe a lot of people, this is no big deal, but I'm thinking that there's an awful lot of people with children who are facing possibly even layoffs, that how are they going to pay it? It's really terrible in the summertime if you want to have a garden or a flower or anything to water and pay your bills because of the increase. And you do get a city rate, and I realize that. But I think that this 3% on the water and the 10% on the sewer is outrageous. The sewer thing itself, I know, is expensive, and I understand, having seen it, you know, that this is all the way it has to be, but I don't understand this at all. I just think it's awful.
Well, I appreciate your comments, and it's good for you to come and speak those comments because you are a member of our community, you live in the city, and I can tell you, I'm working overtime to attempt to get more grant funding to come into the city of Shelton to help alleviate this. But it is where we are, and we have to pay our bills or else they will take us all to jail.
Okay,
So
did you know this is what was going to happen when you contracted whoever did all the replacement of the drain fields? Did you know this is how we were going to pay for it?
it's been on for like
Did
10, 12 years.
Did you tell the people of Shelton?
I've only been here for 3 years. This has been
You
going
did
on
tell
for
us? When did you
every
tell us?
week.
There was a number of public hearings as we went.
Pardon?
There was a number of public hearings as we went through this where we gave the
Well,
information
you know,
out.
this is the first time I've ever attended one. I usually figure, you know, you let people in, and they do what they're supposed to do. But I just do not see where you can consciously do this to people. There has to be another way to pay for this. It's the stormwater, isn't it? Isn't this what this to pay for all the,
Sewers, not stormwater, sewers.
just the water that goes in the sewer?
The sewer, well, it's tied in with the water bill, and the sewer are tied together in that bill, I believe, and it's where we are today. And again, all I can say is, this commission's only been here for 2 and 3 years. This is something that began 12 or 13 or 14 years ago, and everything needed to be brought up, and we are looking into any way we can possibly help fund this other than the ratepayers. That's a true statement, and we can only, these are long-term things, but it's been going on. I mean, the rates have been going up for a long time. Hopefully, we're getting very close to the end of it, but
Well,
your comments have been appreciated,
Okay.
and we appreciate that.
Okay, well,
Thank
thank
you.
you. I think I'll go home.
All right, thank you. All right, now, are you ready for the consent agenda?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And you're ready for the consent agenda? Okay. Could we please have a reading of the consent agenda?
Consent agenda, vouchers numbered 84892 through 84972 in the amount of $360,131.45. Vouchers numbered 85077 through 85116 in the amount of $656,179.77. Manual warrant numbered 85074 in the amount of $24,121.08 to the Mason County Treasurer. Payroll warrant number 72840 through 73015 in the amount of $653,109.89. Commission meeting minutes from special meeting of December 12, 2014, business meeting of January 5, 2015, special meeting of January 9, 2015, and study session of January 12, 2015. Upper Mountain View Pressure Zone Construction, Phase 1, Roglands, Inc., for $3,410,155, and 1B, Cayman Excavation, $1,001,246.39, and authorize the mayor to sign associated contract documents when returned from contractors. Northcliff Road Canyon Creek Culvert Replacement Project Final Acceptance, Cayman Excavation, $221,930.96.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
I second that motion.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The consent agenda passes. There's an item under old business that we're going to bring before you tonight, and this is concerning an ordinance and a second reading, and it will be presented to us by our Public Works Director, Greg Clark.
Mayor, Commissioners, thank you. As you know, we brought the first briefing and reading before you on January 5th, and the ordinance is kind of a house cleaning item for our fire line ordinance, in that in administering the ordinance that we passed last year, that it was found that we had some fire lines that served multiple residences or multiple businesses within a single building. And the ordinance didn't allow us to take measures to collect for those that were delinquent. So the ordinance has been modified slightly. The one attached in your packet this week has the yellow portions that were changed between the first reading and the second reading, and they're on the second page. And I worked with Kathleen, our city attorney, to come up with this language. I worked with Kathy Byerly as well. We feel that these modifications now will allow the city to deal with this issue. So my request this evening is that we have a second reading and adoption.
Okay. This is open for a public comment on this action item, so if anyone from the public would like to talk about this specifically, please come in up here and sign your name and address for the record, and then again state your name for the record and speak. I'll borrow my pen. There you go.
Thank you very much, Commission. Mr. Mayor, I'm Forrest Cooper, 807 South 14th and 409 West Railroad. I'm still getting used to that address change there. So anyways, I want to make a quick little comment. I had a little bit of a concern. I spoke a little bit with Greg after the last meeting about this, and there was one thing that was being changed in the fire line deal that I, as a small business, had some kind of concerns about, and that was the steps taken in order to collect the funds. As I understand it, it's a very exception to the rule, so it's highly unlikely that this would happen, but it does concern me a little bit, and that's the buildings that have a single line for multiple tenants. I want to try and word this correct, so interrupt me if I get it wrong. And that's the fire line that is the responsibility of the landlord, but it's shared with all the tenants. And one of the procedures for collecting the funds, if that's not paid, is to go through several steps. And all the first steps I have no problem with. Those are, contact the landlord, put door hangers on there, do a actual walk around, and then do the door hangers, try and get the tenants to encourage the landlord to pay his bill. The one step that I think goes just a little too far is shutting off the water to those businesses that are in that building. I think that's way over the line. I think there's other ways that you can get to the landlord and get the landlord to pay his responsibility without really impacting those businesses. One of the buildings that was brought up is the big building uptown that has the Goodwill in it and the dollar store in those. And I know there's some restaurants in that building, and if they came in one day and their water was just shut off, they wouldn't be able to open up their store for that day, and the financial impact to them would be huge versus the $80? How much is the typical fee for that connection? I saw something similar happen with a restaurant down next to us downtown where their power inadvertently got shut off overnight because of a switch that's located in a weird spot, and they lost all of their meat in their freezer. Okay, I use that as kind of as an example to, if you shut off water to a business, that business is not going to be able to open up. And in the end, should they be penalized for the landlord's mistake? So I hope I got that all out right with what I was trying to say there. But thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cooper. We appreciate your comments. Greg, did you feel you wanted to address that any further?
I could comment
Sure.
a little bit on it. The city has to have means by which they can collect on delinquent bills, and hopefully this never will need to be put in action. Both the city attorney and myself agree. Unfortunately, under the old codes, buildings were allowed to be built that have multiple tenants or multiple occupants, with only the owner being the single fire line owner. Our hope with the system we have in place now to notify not only the owner multiple times, but the tenants as well. The tenants certainly could come in and make right the delinquent bill, and because the owner might be, traveling or might be really sick or, for who knows what reason. Our hope is that one of the tenants would step up, make the payment, and that way nothing would need to be shut off. But at some point, we need to draw a line in the sand and say you need to pay your bills, or unfortunately, consequences are a result. It's really the only leverage we have, short of leaning the property or something that also wouldn't be desirable. So this should work. Hopefully, it'll never get to the point where we turn off anybody's water without them definitely being aware that they could have taken action upon themselves to correct it. But it's kind of the cards were dealt. So.
Okay, is there any question or comment?
It's my recollection that in the year that we've been discussing this, we have looked at every option other than this, and this seems to be the only way that we have of moving this along and getting the fees. It's hopefully it never happens. No, it's not a pleasant idea, but we have to have some way of getting the funds.
Go ahead, Greg.
One more quick comment with regard to, we also discussed with the fire marshal and the building official if there was a way we could work this out to turn off the fire line, but literally it's a life safety issue. We cannot turn off the water to the fire line. It provides to the sprinklered system in the building, and we didn't want to red tag the building where people have to physically move out. You know, with the payment of utilities, the water is typically the method by which we get to get action by the owner or occupants to pay their bill. And so, unfortunately, this is kind of the step we needed to take.
Any questions, comments? Okay, and I feel that it is what we have to do at this time, and so I don't have a problem with that. So I guess at this point, I would request a motion to approve ordinance 1865-0115.
I move that we have a second reading and an adoption of ordinance number 1865-0115.
Second that.
There's a motion and a second to approve this ordinance. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? The motion passed. New business at this time is we are talking about the skateboard park and have been, and so we're going to be presented a presentation here from our Parks and Recreation Director, Mark Ziegler, tonight about this issue.
Good evening, Your Honor, Commissioners. Tonight before you, I've got in your packets a memorandum of understanding between the city and Mason County, and also a lease agreement between the city and Shelton School District concerning the existing Shelton Skate Park up on Wallace Nealon Boulevard that has been operated by Mason County Parks for a little over 10 years now. As you know, the city's been in negotiations with the county for some time since they approached the city to take over operations of the park. And these documents are kind of the result of that. The memorandum of understanding outlines a cooperative approach between the city and the county in management of the skate park and exploring future replacement of that facility. The facility has seen some degradation, I guess, due to just the nature of the materials that were used to construct it and the weather that it's in now. The county's done some repairs on that, with some repairs that are still outstanding. They've committed to contributing $5,000 a year to help maintain those structures and help offset some of the costs of maintenance, as well as providing some technical support from their staff that's been involved with that over the years. The term of the MOU is 5 years. The lease agreement with Shelton School District is based on the property is on school district property since the project was constructed at Oakland Bay Junior High School. They're the leaseor to whoever manages skate park in that facility. The lease is again a 5-year term, and outlines the responsibilities of the city operating the skate park and the school district providing the property for such facility. Now, if the skate park leaves or is no longer usable, per the lease agreement, the property would have to be restored back to its original condition at the time the skate park was constructed, which was a turf, it was part of the turf grass up there at Oakland Bay. So there would be some impact at that point if it's, again, not maintained as a skate park. Within the MOU, the county has obligated to share in the cost of restoring that facility back to the condition that it's in. Bringing this to you tonight comes at a time when we've learned a little bit of news about the Shelton Metropolitan Park District tax funding for 2015. The county assessor's office has indicated that we're looking at a $40,000 reduction in 2015 from 2014's revenue collection. It's a fairly significant decrease, as we saw a $133,000 reduction in 2014. So about a total of 43% reduction in revenue from 2013's collection. It has already impacted the Parks Department. We've had a transfer recently in park maintenance. We have 2 employees within Parks Maintenance, full-time employees. One is transferred to the solid waste department, and we're holding off and filling that position until we get some more financial information, not only from the county, because that wasn't a final assessment total. It was kind of just a heads up, I guess, but also closing out the city's 2014 budget and see what we have for ending fund balance carrying over from 2014 into 15. My estimates for 2014 with the reduction that we were seeing at that point was spending about $40,000 in fund balance to help offset costs for park maintenance. That expenditure would be carried over into 15 as well, but this would be the last year that's a possibility. They would take that fund balance down to a level that is the minimum we need to pay bills and keep solvent as the park district. Most likely we'll see decreased maintenance activity in our parks as it is now without taking on the skate park. It means decreasing irrigation, saving on water bills, mowing less often. Obviously that's kind of a byproduct of watering less, but also some of the other things like painting restrooms, getting around to weeding things, some of the ball field maintenance, things like that. We could also look at turning off drinking fountains, picking up litter a little bit less and things like that, and maybe relying more on the public to help out with those things if possible. So those are some of the things that would certainly be an impact in 2015, even without the skate park. But if we saw that, realize that the lease for the skate park, it could impact some of those other activities, some of the other facilities as well. So at this time, tonight I'm just looking for some direction where we want to go. If we want to bring this to the consent agenda next week, wait for the kind of year-end balance and year-end funding, what we get from the finance department, and see how much we're going to have for carryover. And we were really conservative last year, and hopefully we have have a little more money in that fund balance than I was anticipating, but we won't know until we get all that information from the finance department.
Could I ask one question first?
Absolutely.
What is your expectation for 2015, this year, hard cost for you that are directly related to the skate park? Because the county, it looks like, is putting $5,000 in this year for 2015. What do you anticipate are your hard costs this year for that?
I anticipate somewhere between $7,000 and $8,000
This year?
in hard costs, correct. Depending on, there's 2 structures up there that have not been resurfaced or rebuilt at this point. So those two are still out there. There's four of the six structures that, 3 of the 6 are rebuilt and resurfaced. One is in the process now, and it has been since the facility's been closed down back in this, since early spring of this year. So those could significantly increase the cost, obviously with the skate-light material and the wood structure that needs to be repaired or replaced.
That's questions, I guess.
What part of is the county going to pick up any more of that repair that they started, or is that all going to be dumped on you now?
They've verbally committed to complete the repairs.
To
that they've
finishing the
started now.
repairs,
Correct.
in addition to the $5,000?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
So, Mark, just to clarify, the $7,000 to $8,000 cost this year, is that above the $5,000 the county has
No,
agreed
that's
to
that's
contribute?
total costs, barring any major repairs.
Okay.
That's just to mow the grass, pick up the garbage, and do visual inspections of the facility. That's a maintenance cost of just making sure the facility is safe and in a reasonable condition for the community.
Well, I think that it's, I understand that, budgets are tough everywhere, but it's imperative that we keep this open for the kids. I just don't see a lot of options out there for them at all. And the whole community is going to benefit from having this in operation out there. So I think it should be sucked up by the city if necessary in the future budget cycles, if we have to take it out of strategic reserves or whatever. I just think that it's imperative that we keep this for the kids in the community. There's so few opportunities, but we got to have it. It's my opinion.
Appreciate your comments, Mr. Olson. One other little note, just for the public record, is that a group called Boaz, which is out of the Baptist Church over here, said, what can we do for the cities? And I talked to their chairman today, and they said in April they would love to come and offer volunteer labor to do whatever needed to be done up there to enable to do that. So there's some volunteer labor, and I will personally donate some money to this project. I won't say exactly how much, but I will donate some money to this project, along with, I think, other interested people in the community. The biggest reason is that our bowling alley burnt down, Sox is closed up, we have a movie theater, we have so limited activities for young people that I think we got to do it, is my opinion, and so I think we can make it happen, and I hope we can do it without really impacting your budget. I really believe we can pull together and do that, and that I would be a supporter of that, which means also I would try to talk up some extra donations towards that cause. So I think we can do it. I think we have to do it. So, and Commissioner, did you have anything else?
Oh, I just, it's devastating to even consider not taking this on. And I think that, especially paired with the uncertainty of the swimming pool, is a difficult thing. I'm not really, I'm happy to hear that you think that there are other options for funding. I guess I just question how far into the future we're looking and what the total cost would be. We have some commitments from the county as well to help raise funds and to hopefully raise funds for a more permanent skate park in the future. I'm concerned about our staffing levels. I'll be interested to hear what our fund balance is when we get those numbers back. It sounds like both the other commissioners are very, very committed to this project. So I guess we'll see
See
what
how
we
it
can
goes,
do,
huh?
yeah.
Well, we haven't voted yet, so either one, Commissioner Olson or I might change our vote, I suppose, before that. So you should vote your conscience or whatever you feel, you want to do in this. And it's not easy. Money's money. You got cut. I also believe we've got to, this year and next year, come out of the economic hardship we've been under for so long. There's got to be a silver lining. I mean, when you're spending $1 million in Seattle for a 3-bedroom home, you know, that prosperity's got to come around the corner, and which will add property tax and sales tax and budgets and things like this. So it's a tough time, but at the moment, these kids in this community have got very little to offer them in activities, and closing a park that exists right now, I just really feel I got to go in that direction. So that's kind of where I feel I am. Any other questions or comments about?
Just that I think that you've hammered out a really good contract, Mark. I think that's a really good cooperation between city and county, and we're well partnered in that, and not just left hanging in case it does have to close, and it'd be quite a significant cost in that. So I think you did a good job, you, and I think Commissioner Moore was involved in that, and County Commissioner, so I appreciate that.
I agree with that,
Yeah.
yeah.
We've worked really hard to make this go. It's just this last funding cut is kind of devastating.
Okay, well, we've talked
Is that
about
enough
that.
direction for you?
It's enough direction, I guess, with
It
this.
says staff's direction. It appears, there's no vote on this. It appears we want to do it.
Well, then we can add it to the consent agenda for next week, the MOU and the lease agreement.
I would just like to say one more thing about that, is that the community has spoken loud and clear that they want this as well. So we may need for the community to step up and help out with some of the costs incurred by this too. I don't know if we can have a Friends of the Skate Park or something similar, and maybe we won't need that, but I don't want to be pessimistic, but I agree the kids need it.
Okay, so if you're going to put something on the consent agenda, do we need a motion? Nope. Okay, so, sounds good. Thank you very much,
Great.
Mark. Thanks
Thank
for your
you.
hard work.
Appreciate it.
Okay, at this time, it appears that we would like to turn the meeting over to our acting city administrator, Vicki Look, for a administration report.
I have no report this evening.
Well, you only been on job for a couple of days, so it'd probably take a
That's
while
right.
to get all.
One day.
One day, okay. Well, that sounds fine. There is general public comment period. If anybody would like to speak about this or any issues, this is that second and last chance. Seeing no one rushing forward, what I'd like to do is ask any administration final touches. Seeing none there, I would like to announce that our next meeting will be Monday, January 26th, and immediately following a Shelton Metropolitan Park District meeting. And that will be scheduled for, I'm going to say that meeting is going to happen somewhere around 1:30. Yes. My notes say 1 o'clock, but having had a conversation with our acting city administrator today in length about how this process would work, we agreed that we would have that at 1:30.
That's right.
And then this commission meeting will follow at, this meeting will be at 2 o'clock, but at 1:30 we will be meeting. Yes, Mr. Clark.
We are scheduling an executive session, so I will see you all here
At
at
1
1
o'clock.
p.m. To discuss potential litigation, and our city attorney will be present.
Okay. So we have executive session 1 o'clock, Metropolitan Parks District meeting 1:30, our regularly scheduled city commission meeting at 2 o'clock. And that brings us to the point of adjourning this meeting. Thank you.